Hi there. In this After Effects tutorial, we will learn the techniques you need to know to create these incredible MagnatesMedia style camera movements and transitions. Here I give you an example of what we are going to do.
Phineas Taylor Barnum was one of the richest and most powerful men in the United States of America. In a matter of weeks, he lost everything, but rose from the ashes to reach the top again.
Okay, so let's start. With the tutorial, you'll see that you're going to like it and we're going to create a very cool animation. The first thing, we are going to import the files. I am going to leave you a link in case you want to download them and follow the tutorial with me. For now, we are going to import only this one from Photoshop as a composition, and here we choose editable layer styles. We change the name. We are going to put it, for example, first transition. And since we are going to start animating these layers, so you can see the settings, it is 1920 by 1080 at 30 frames and with 17 seconds to spare. Well, we have to convert these two layers to 3D. If the cube icon does not appear with F4, we display it. And now with the P key, we are going to move the background layer back. We put a value of 1000 pixels here, and with right click, we are going to create a camera. This is going to be 35 millimeters and a node. Again, with right click, we are going to put a null object. We convert it to 3D, and this camera, with the pick whip, we match it. With the P key, we display the position, and we come here to the second 4, and right there, we are going to mark a keyframe. Now here at the beginning of the timeline, we are going to animate the Z-axis. And here, we are going to put minus 1000 pixels, and well, we have to scale these layers a little, that one over there and this one over there, and here on the Y-axis Greek, we can also position it on that part. Well, we smooth these two keyframes with F9, and here in the graph editor, if the curve appears like this, you have to activate Edit Speed Graph, and now we are going to edit this handler, give an influence of 100%. We leave this as is, and here in this composition, we would only have to activate the motion blur on these two layers. Okay, perfect. Now, based on this composition, we are going to create a new one by dragging it to this icon, and this one is going to be called Second Transition. We have to also make this composition 3D, and again with right-click, we are going to create another camera just like the one before. Right-click again, and null object, we convert it to 3D, and we parent the camera to this null again. Now we're going to put ourselves here at the second 4 over there, which is right where this animation ends. We display the position and mark a keyframe. Now in the second 9, what we are going to do is animate the Z-axis here. We are going to put minus 4000. Okay, these two keyframes, we smooth them with F9 and right-click. We come here at keyframe speed, and we are going to put a 65% influence on both of them. Subscribe. Let's see how it looks. Well, here at this point with the right-click, we are going to create a solid. The color is almost black, and it will be used to create the frame. We convert it to 3D, and now, by eye, we are going to scale it until it protrudes a little from all the edges, like this, and we are going to put it below the composition. Okay, perfect. We return to this point, and now we are going to bring all the other files, well, all except the Photoshop one, and to have this a little more organized, we are going to put them in a folder. Now here we are going to bring this one called wall, which is a cement wall. We also convert it to 3D. Okay, there it is. Here on the Greek y-axis, if we want, we can move it up a little bit. Let's see how this looks. Great. Now here in this entire space is where we are going to place all the characters one by one. We put ourselves here in this keyframe, and we are going to bring the first one, this one from the backpack. We convert it to 3D, and we are going to activate two views to see it better, and in this viewer we are going to put a top view. And we are going to activate the background so that it can be seen better. Now we have to position it. In all axes, with the P key we display the position, and here we are going to put it in the Z-500 axis. Look, here we are seeing it in real time. Here on the Greek y-axis we are going to put a value of 1100 px. Now we are going to move it a little to the right. Here we are going to put 1870, and now with the S key we are going to scale it a little to 130% enough. And notice how it enters the scene there, and the truth is that it is quite a bit cool. Come on. Let's now bring the one with the white dress. We also convert the layer to 3D, and we also have to position it. On all axes we display the position, and here on the Z-axis we are going to put -1300. Here we are going to lower it there. We are going to put 1140 px, and we are going to move to the left. Here we put 500 on the x-axis. Now with the S key we are also going to increase the scale. We set it to 150%. Leave me a like if you like the tutorial. There we can see that it looks great. Okay, now we are going to bring the brown dress layer. We also convert it to 3D and reposition it. PY key here on the Z-axis we put -2800. We lower it there 960 pixels on the Greek y-axis, and here we are going to put 1230, and we are also going to increase the scale to 145. And well, this looks great. But we still have to put 3 characters. Now we are going to bring this one from Hat 2, we put it here, we convert to 3D and position P key here. We are going to put -3500 on the Greek y-axis. We are also going to lower it a little, 1180 px. And here we are going to put 370. And we are going to increase the scale quite a bit. We are going to put a value of 190%. I put these values because after having done some tests, they are the ones that have worked best for me. Well, now we are going to bring the one with the other hat. We convert it to 3D and position P key here in the Z-axis. We put -5000. Here we move it a little down, we put 600, and here we are going to put 1380. And with the S key, let's lower the scale a little bit, which is very large. We put it at 85%, okay. There we can see how all the characters enter one by one. The one with the suit, we put it up here, we convert it to 3D and position. Here on the Z-axis -5000, we lower it a little. Here we go, we are going to put 1050, and on the X-axis, we are going to put a value of 525. Now we increase the scale to 155. There we have it. Let's preview it and see how this animation looks. Well, this looks perfect. Now from this composition, we are going to create another one, and this one is going to be called Final Transition. And we are also going to convert it to 3D, and again with right-click, we create a camera and leave it as it is, 35mm and a node. Again right-click, null object. We also convert it to 3D, and this camera is related to it. We display the position with the P key, and now with Shift pressed, we also mark the R key. And now we are going to come here to the second transition. And right here at this point, in the second 9, we are going to mark a keyframe in position and in rotation X. And with the U key, we are left with only these 2 keyframes. Now in the 13th second, we are going to animate it this way. Here we are going to put it in 30 degrees rotation. On the X-axis, we are going to put a value of -3000. Now what we have to do is raise it up and center it more or less. Here in the composition, we are going to put a value of 260. We select all of them with F9. We smooth them, and these 2 of the position with right-click, we come to keyframe velocity, and we are going to put 65 to the 2 handles around there. So we have to have the curve with this shape. Here in equal rotation, right-click, keyframe velocity, and we put 65 and 65. Perfect. And so that this composition does not leave the work table here in the transition. We are going to do the following. We activate 2 views, and we put this viewer here in left view. Now we are going to select this last keyframe, the one with the position, and the camera path appears so that it is not completely straight. We are going to select the pen tool. And we are going to move this handle in this way, more or less around there, and notice now it looks great. But one thing that I don't like very much is right here. When it reaches this point that the animation stops. And even if it is only a few thousandths of a second, the truth is that I don't like how it looks at all. So to make the transition look super clean and fluid, we are going to do the following. We are going to come back to the second transition, and this keyframe here, the one with the null, we are going to move it a little to the right, more or less there. And now, without moving the head in the timeline, we are going to mark another keyframe, and we can put this one wherever we want. We are going to leave it here in the second 13. Now for the value to be exact here. We go to put -3895, and we are going to enter the graph editor again. Here at this point, we are going to double click and we are going to check the continuous box. Now we are going to give this handle this shape. So that the animation when reaching this point does not remain stopped, but continues moving forward, back but more and more slowly until in the end it remains at 0. We double click here again and set it to 65 as it was. Subscribe and leave me a like if you like the tutorial. And so with this simple trick, we are going to make the transition look super clean and fluid, and the camera never stops. This looks spectacular. Well, we are going to get right to this point, and now with right click we are going to create a white solid, and this will be used to make the photo frame. We convert it to 3D and we are going to do the same as before, so by eye we are going to scale it until it protrudes a little from all the edges, and we are going to pass it below the composition. Okay, great. Again, being here at this point, we're going to bring in this wooden texture and we're going to convert it to 3D as well. This looks spectacular. Well, with this texture, with the ellipse tool, by double clicking, we are going to create a mask. If we double click again, we can move it wherever we want. We are going to leave it there, and now displaying it here in mask, we are going to give it a draft of 280 more or less. That may be fine. And with the S key, we're going to scale it up a little bit. Perfect. With the right click, we are going to create a black background, and we are also going to convert it to 3D, and we are going to scale it quite a bit. We display the position. And here in the Greek Y-axis, we are going to raise it there, scale it a little more and put it below here. Okay, perfect. Now the next thing we are going to do is display the position of the camera with the P key, and here at second 12 we are going to mark a keyframe. And we are going to move now to second 16. Here we are going to animate the Greek Y-axis. We put a value of 3200. Let's see here, there is one thing that I don't really like. These edges here of the wood texture mask, which look a little blurred there. Well, we can select the mask and give it this shape. Okay there, now it's perfect. We smooth these two keyframes with F9 and with right click. We are going to give a 65% influence to the two handles. There it is. Okay, great. Another thing we are going to do is, with the wood texture, we are going to create a composition from it. And now by clicking on this icon, we are going to select this part of the wooden strip, that one over there, and now we come to composition. and we are going to cut the composition based on the region of interest, which is that piece that we have selected. Okay, perfect. We return to the final transition. Now we are going to put this wooden strip here. We also convert it to 3D, and with the R key we display the rotation. And here we put the Z rotation at 90 degrees. And now these 30 degrees. That we have rotated the null previously, we have to compensate the wooden strip so that it stays completely straight. So here we are going to set it, 30 degrees. Now we select it and notice. If we activate the adjustment box and move it here, it will stick right here to the table, which is precisely what we want. Now with the S key we are going to scale it a little there and adjust it again. Okay, there it is, perfect. We are going to add an effect to this composition called levels, or levels if you have After Effects in Spanish, and here we are going to move this lever to the left and we are going to darken it quite a bit, more or less around there, and with this we have created as if it were the edge of the table. These are details that in the end altogether make our animation look much more professional. To finish, we are going to come to the second transition, and for all these layers except the camera and the null we are going to activate the motion blur. And here the final transition is the same, we activate the motion blur for these two, to all of them, to all of these. And finally we are going to come here to the frame. With right click we go to layer style and we put a drop shadow on it, and we are going to leave it as it is by default so that it looks like the photo is resting on the table. Leave me a like if you like the tutorial. Well, here I see that we have to fix a little thing. We display the keyframes, and here in the last one of the camera we are going to raise it a little, but we will set it, for example, at 3300. Now yes, we already have the tutorial finished and working perfectly. I hope you liked it and it was helpful to you. So, leave me a like so I know. And if at any point you have gotten stuck or there is something you don't understand, write to me in the comments and we will solve it. See you in the next video.